They called me senile. They called me a burden. They even tried to have me declared incompetent so they could steal my money. But what they didn't know, I'd been planning this for 40 years. And today the lawyer just read my will. And let me tell you, the screaming was absolutely delicious. Hey everyone, it's Grandma here with a story that hits close to home. Real close. Before we dive into this nuclear-level family destruction, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. Because trust me, you do not want to miss how this ends. This is the kind of justice that'll make you stand up and cheer. Alright, let's get into it. So this story is about Margaret, 82 years old, widowed for 15 years, and worth a cool $5 million between her estate and investments. Now, Margaret raised 3 kids as a stay-at-home mom, cooked every meal, packed every lunch, attended every school play. She was just a simple housewife, at least. That's what her ungrateful children thought. First, there's Richard, 56 years old, hotshot attorney making $100,000 a year. This man visits his mother once a year, maybe at Christmas, and only calls when he needs something. His favorite line, "Mom, you're getting forgetful. Maybe it's time for a home." Yeah, a home where he can control her money. Then there's Linda, the middle child, 54, real estate agent married to wealth. She posts family first on Facebook every other day, but hasn't invited Mom to a holiday dinner in 5 years. Her specialty? The house is too big for you. Mom, you should sell it and move somewhere ... smaller. Translation: sell it so I can get my cut. And finally, Jason, 49 years old, the baby of the family and an absolute disaster. Multiple failed businesses, multiple bankruptcies, and only shows up when he needs money. His mantra: it's my inheritance too. You can't just let it sit there, as if his mother's money is already his. But there's one good egg in this rotten basket. Emma, 28 years old, Linda's daughter and the only grandchild who actually gives a damn. This girl visits Margaret every single week, brings groceries, fixes things around the house, actually sits and listens to her grandmother's stories. She's in medical school, struggling financially, and her parents, especially Linda, disapprove. Stop wasting time with that old woman, they tell her. But Emma, she keeps showing up. Now here's where things get interesting. 5 years ago, Margaret's husband died and left everything to her. The ink wasn't even dry on the death certificate before the kids started circling like vultures. "What are you going to do with all that money, Mom?" Richard immediately suggests she's not equipped to handle finances. What they don't know is that Margaret quietly transferred everything into an ironclad trust. These idiots have no idea what's coming. 1 year ago, Linda does something unforgivable. She lists Margaret's house on Zillow without permission, just puts it up there like it's her property. When Margaret finds out, Linda waves it off. "Just getting comps, Mom. Don't be dramatic." But it doesn't stop there. Linda starts bringing complete strangers by for showings, telling potential buyers. The old owner doesn't understand the market. Margaret lets her. Oh, she lets her keep going, because she's documenting every single illegal thing these parasites do. 6 months ago, Jason crosses a line that should have landed him in prison. He forges Margaret's signature on loan documents, tries to take out a $150,000 home equity loan on her house. The bank catches it, calls the police. And here's the kicker: Margaret refuses to press charges. The family thinks she's weak. They think she's scared. They have no idea she's playing the long game. Grandma always says, give them enough rope to hang themselves. Margaret's handing out rope by the mile. 3 months ago, the 3 siblings have a secret meeting at Richard's house. Emma overhears the whole thing. They're planning to have Margaret declared incompetent for real this time. They've hired some sketchy doctor who specializes in elderly care evaluations. which is code for will say whatever you pay him to say. Emma immediately warns her grandmother. Margaret smiles and says, "Don't worry, sweetheart. I've got this handled." And that brings us to present day. Margaret suddenly gets very ill. She calls all 3 kids with a shaky voice. "I don't have much time. We need to talk," and just like that, they all rush over. First time in months any of them have darkened her doorstep, and suddenly they're so attentive. Richard's holding her hand going, "Don't worry, Mom. We'll take care of everything." Linda's already mentally redecorating, saying, "You just focus on getting better." And Jason actually says, "I love you so much," something he hasn't said in 20 years. It would be touching if it wasn't so pathetically transparent. Now here's where this gets absolutely beautiful. The will reading. Margaret insisted it happen at Richard's law office. The irony is just chef's kiss. All 3 siblings show up dressed in black, putting on their best performance of grief. Emma's sitting quietly in the corner, actually sad because she thinks her grandmother is dying. And Margaret's longtime lawyer friend walks in with a slight smirk on his face. The reading begins. "I, Margaret Eleanor Thompson, being of sound mind and body ... double quotes, and then come the small bequests. 50,000 to the gardener who kept her roses alive, 25,000 to her hairstylist who actually listened to her stories, 30,000 to the mail carrier who checked on her every single day." Richard shifts uncomfortably. Why is she giving money to strangers? He mutters, "Oh, Richard, just wait." Then the lawyer continues, "To my daughter Linda, who told me I was a burden ... double quotes." Linda perks up, ready for her millions. "I leave my collection of family photo albums. May you remember the family you forgot." You could hear a pin drop. Linda's face goes completely white. The lawyer doesn't even pause. "To my son Jason, who forged my signature and stole from me ... double quotes." Jason jumps up. "I can explain," but the lawyer cuts him off. "I leave you exactly what you tried to steal. Nothing. The police report I filed yesterday will explain why." Jason's screaming now. "You said you wouldn't press charges." And the lawyer, cool as ice, responds, "She said that 6 months ago. She changed her mind last week. The forgery charges are real. They're filed and Jason's going down. But wait, there's more. To my son Richard, who tried to have me declared incompetent. Richard tries to interrupt. "Mom, that was for your own." The lawyer holds up a hand. "I leave you my medical records from the past 5 years. Including the cognitive tests I took monthly, all perfect scores. Perhaps you can use them in court when you explain to the state bar why you filed fraudulent guardianship papers." The room is absolutely silent. You could hear hearts breaking. Or maybe that's just bank accounts shattering. And then comes the big one. "To my granddaughter Emma, who loved me without expectation ... double quotes. The family estate worth $3.2 million. All investment accounts totaling $1.8 million. The vacation home in Vermont worth $800,000. All personal property, vehicles, everything. Plus a $500,000 education fund for medical school. Total to Emma, $6.3 million. Linda absolutely explodes. She's on her feet screaming, "This is fraud. She was senile. We're contesting this." But the lawyer just smiles and pulls out another document. Before you contest, let me read one more section. This is a letter from Margaret herself. And here's where Margaret twists the knife. The lawyer starts reading in Margaret's voice, and I'm telling you, it's brutal. "Dear Richard, Linda, and Jason, you thought I was just a housewife. You thought I was stupid. Let me educate you. When your father built his business, who do you think kept the books? Me. When he made his fortune, who do you think managed the investments? Me. I have a bachelor's degree in accounting from 1965. I managed a $10 million portfolio for 40 years. I just never needed to brag about it. The siblings are frozen. This can't be happening. But oh, it gets so much better. For the past 5 years, I've documented everything. Every insult I recorded them, by the way, one-party consent state. Every attempt to steal from me. Every time you left me alone on holidays while posting your fake happy families on social media. Every lie you told to doctors and courts. I have timestamps, video, audio, and witnesses. Margaret wasn't done. She hired a private investigator, and the PI found everything. Richard had been billing his guardianship work he was doing to steal from his own mother to his law firm as client hours. That's embezzlement. His senior partner would be receiving all the evidence Monday morning. Linda had been receiving kickbacks from elder care facilities for referrals illegal in their state. The real estate board would be very interested in that. And Jason? His business opportunities were actually covering gambling debts. Margaret tracked every dollar, and she sent all the evidence to his wife yesterday. The letter continues, and this is my favorite part. You could have had equal shares. Each of you could have walked away with over $1 million. All you had to do was love me. Just love me. Visit me, call me, treat me like a human being instead of a bank account. But you chose greed. Emma chose love. She wins. P.S. I'm not dying. I have at least another 10 years, according to my doctor. I'll be spending them in Vermont with Emma. Don't visit. The room erupts. Linda's sobbing. Jason's threatening to sue. Richard's having what looks like a panic attack. And Emma looks at the lawyer in shock. She's not dying. The lawyer grins. Healthy as a horse. Best acting I've ever seen. Now let's talk about the aftermath, because the karma here is absolutely pathetic. Richard gets fired from his law firm within a week for ethics violations. The state bar opens an investigation that will likely end his career. His wife divorces him, and thanks to their prenup, he gets nothing. Zero. The man who tried to steal millions from his mother ends up broke and disbarred. Linda's real estate license gets suspended pending investigation. Her Family First Facebook page mysteriously disappears. And here's the kicker: her own husband sides with Emma. He tells Linda, at least someone in this family has values. Maybe you should have learned from your mother instead of trying to rob her. Jason gets arrested for the forgery. Margaret finally pressed charges, and they stick. His wife files for divorce and takes the kids. He declares bankruptcy again, his 4th time, and can't even afford a lawyer. Last anyone heard, he's living in his car and working at a gas station. The golden child who thought the world owed him everything now has absolutely nothing. But Emma's thriving. She paid off every penny of her medical school debt. Margaret moved into the Vermont house with her, and they renovated it together. Actual quality time, building memories. Emma's about to graduate, and she's naming her first clinic the Margaret Thompson Family Medical Center. Margaret cries every time Emma mentions it. The final line of Margaret's letter is perfect. They say living well is the best revenge, but I say giving well is even better. I gave my love to Emma, she gave hers to me. My other children gave me nothing but pain and betrayal, so I returned the favor. Fair is fair. And to anyone thinking of contesting this will, my lawyer is Richard's ex-senior partner, the one who fired him. Good luck with that. And that, my friends, is how you execute 40 years of revenge in one afternoon. Margaret didn't just get even, she got justice. She rewarded kindness and punished greed in the most spectacular way possible. You know what Grandma always says, family isn't about blood, it's about who shows up. Emma showed up every single week. The others only showed up when they wanted something. And Margaret made sure that her will reflected exactly that. If you loved this story of ultimate family karma, please smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and drop a comment telling me what you think. Would you have done what Margaret did? Do you think she went too far, or was this exactly what they deserved? Grandma wants to hear your thoughts. And hey, if you've got your own family drama or revenge story, share it in the comments. Your story might be featured next. Remember, Grandma's dropping new revenge stories every single day, so hit that notification bell. Until next time, stay loyal, stay smart, and remember karma doesn't forget, and neither should you. This is Grandma, signing off. Peace.